everybody. We are here for Friday Night Live. I've been teasing you guys for the last few weeks. Huh?
Friday Night Live?
Yeah, Friday Night Live on YouTube. I've been teasing you guys for the last few weeks, not really teasing you, but telling you that I've invited my husband to join me on a Friday Night Live because my husband, Matt Woods, for those of you that haven't met him on any of my lives yet, he helps me with so much of my business. And he's a little over dramatic. But no, he helps me so much. And so I thought it might be fun, instead of painting, because I've already painted, they're saying hello to you. Hi, Matt.
Hello.
Oh, you got a handsome from your brother-in-law.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Okay, you don't have to shout, because they're just 2 feet from us.
Oh.
See? Okay.
I see.
So someone said you were handsome, but it was my brother, so
That's awkward.
it's typical. But anyway, we've been saying we're going to do this, and so if you have questions, we're here for it.
What kind of questions?
Like business questions, or like something you may not know is I've been self-employed for 9 years. He's been self-employed for 9 years. So it's one of those things where it's a little bit different lifestyle. It's not always really, it's not very conventional sometimes.
It's not conventional at all.
No. So you just kind of, hi Heather Watson, I'm glad that you're here. A lot of people were on Facebook a minute ago for my live with Quita Allen, and they're popping over here to say hello. So I appreciate you guys. This may or may not be fun, but I think it would be fun for you and me.
I have no idea.
So we wrote a list of questions for each other. We
Good,
have not
hard-
shared them.
Hard questions.
I don't want hard ones.
Hard-hitting questions.
I don't want hard ones. It's late.
Business questions.
It's supposed to be like Friday Night Live, like fun, but like not. Now I'm nervous.
Well, how about you just get started? Am I go first or you go first?
How about I get started? No, I'm going to ask the first question because
Okay.
I'm in charge.
So you're asking me the question.
Yes, so I wrote down some questions. He wrote down some questions. Matt is an electrician. We own Old School Electric here in Oklahoma City, and that's what he does. He's an electrician. He's
Been an electrician
electrical
for
contractor.
20 years?
Longer than that.
21, 22, 22 years?
Yes, we are high school sweethearts.
High school sweethearts, yes.
You're frowning when you said that. You're like, yes, we're high school sweethearts.
No, not at all. No, not
Okay.
frowning. It's
No frowning.
It's a smile.
Okay.
Upside down. All right, but yes.
I do have a question. When does your membership open up for new people? Michelle, July 1st. We'll open up for 2 days. So there's Hilda, and she's the one that gave me that hat today.
Hello,
that I wore.
Hilda. It's a very nice hat, actually.
I painted in my hat.
I look good in that hat. I actually put it on. She didn't know
Don't
I
say
put it
that out
on,
loud.
but I
Don't
put
say
it
that
on.
out loud.
But I did.
Don't say it out loud. Keep it to ourselves.
You gotta try.
Okay, first question. Matt Woods.
Okay, so the format is we would like for you guys to ask business questions or
We just want to help. We want to help
Yeah.
somebody that might be in the same similar situation, or
because we're both small business owners,
Mhm.
and there is some form out there for small business owners, but the thing is sometimes it's better coming from the people who actually own businesses.
yeah, that
I
own
don't
the
know.
business.
Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't. I don't know.
Right. And people always think it sounds so good to work together, and I think that it can be.
It can be.
Why the eyes again?
What eyes? You're
The
supposed to
big-
be looking at the
like
camera.
your
not the-
eyebrows went
You're
like
supposed to be looking at the camera.
I'm watching you because you're making me nervous already. Okay, so my first question to you is, when someone walks up to you, say you've met before or
Like a family member?
anybody, and says, hey, what does your wife do? Or maybe they don't say it like that because guys probably don't talk like that, but what does your wife do? Or what do they say? How are you going to answer when someone approaches you and asks you about your wife and what I do for a living?
Ask me about you.
Yeah, like, what do you say?
I say she's an artist. And then they go, what is that?
They don't know what an artist is?
Well, they do, but they're just uncertain. I mean, there's all kinds of artists. I said she paints canvas, she paints furniture, she's got a coaching group, she's a little famous, you know.
You don't say that. I know
I said
you
she's
don't.
got some YouTube channels, and she's got a Facebook channel, and she's got Pinterest channels, and she's got
It's not Pinterest channels.
all kinds of channels, and that's what I tell them. I say it's cool.
So you start out with saying I'm an artist.
Yeah.
That's the
I do.
number one label you give me.
I do.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Okay. I like that.
My turn?
Yeah. I didn't read the questions first.
This is an easy one.
Oh, it's easy? Okay,
Yeah.
let's start easy.
In a business,
Yep.
how do you handle your stress?
How do I handle stress?
How do you handle your stress?
I dump it all on you.
It's true. This is very true.
I say, Matt,
Yes.
you gotta listen to this.
Yeah.
Because I talk a lot about it, don't I? Hi, Q.
You talk a lot about stress?
No, I talk to get until I'm over the stress. That's what I do.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
bottle
yeah.
it up.
So you talk it out.
I talk it out. I talk it out, and I dump it all on you.
What do you say to somebody who doesn't have
Oh,
somebody to talk to?
that's a better question.
Because whomever doesn't want to listen.
I 100% think that if you don't have somebody to talk to, or some people don't feel the need to talk it out. That's
true.
just how I deal with
Right.
it. If that's not you,
I don't talk about stress.
You don't.
I don't.
You bottle it up and you keep quiet about it because if you dump it on me, what will happen?
Pray.
What will
Michelle?
happen if you dump it
Michelle?
on me? Michelle, she says pray.
That's very nice.
I asked you a question.
What?
I said because if you dump it on me, what will happen?
If I dump what on you? My stress? Oh,
Yes.
my bad.
Listen.
I was thinking about praying.
Well, we can pray.
Yeah, that's
too.
true. That's a good idea.
We do that.
I don't talk about it because my stress compounds and causes her major stress, and which leads to a lot of crying, and which leads to a lot of.
Honey, you cry all the time. But you
I
don't have
do,
to tell
yeah.
them that you cry.
Yep.
You don't have to tell
But
me you cry.
it creates sometimes it creates more problems than it does for me just to talk about it.
So what I would recommend if you don't have
But
somebody.
this question's for you.
I know, but I turned it on you. See how I did that? I'm clever. My advice to somebody would be to how to handle stress I like the praying answer, but I have realized being in business for 9 years is that most things are not as big as they seem at the time. And even giving it just 24 hours makes
You're like
a
looking
huge
back on it?
difference.
Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
looking back on some of the things that I stressed about, say a customer's upset, or say something just fell through that you were really counting on.
Yeah, but-
I look back and go, I can't believe I worried about that the way that I did and stressed out about it. And I think that just,
So you're saying you have like a 24-hour period before you
Yes.
start stressing?
no,
Oh.
I'm saying that when I look back and I give it 24 answers, 24 hours,
That's
it's
like not a bad
almost
idea.
like it's never as big as it seemed, and it really 24 hours really helps just to sleep on it, and the next day it's already feeling so much smaller than it does right off the bat, because
That's what I do.
we as women and a lot of creatives, we tend to almost react quicker and we're more sensitive, and
Well,
so
women are just in general more sensitive for the most part. Not all the time, but just in general. I mean, you tend to take things a little bit more personal sometimes.
yes.
I think.
sure.
At least that's what I've been
Next
told.
question.
Oh, next question.
Okay, so don't read all these questions.
Come on,
So
got this.
as far as, because you helped me a lot
I do.
with business and a lot of behind the scenes things that people don't know about or that don't see, Matt's the one taking care of it, like stocking my shelves or
Cleaning
cleaning up stuff.
or cleaning up.
Or you said cleaning already.
Right.
Or,
Cleaning.
all right, wise
Oh,
guy.
organizing. That's what I meant. What about shipping? Packaging?
So we want to tell everybody everything that you do.
Oh, I thought that's what we were talking
I
about.
was trying to still ask
Oh,
my
I
question.
thought. My bad. Go ahead.
With all of the things that you do, what is your favorite thing that you do to help me with? Like, what's the best part about helping me?
My favorite thing to do is when you come to me with an idea or a problem, I like to talk with you. I like to talk through it with you. That's my favorite thing.
Like to solve problems?
I'm a problem solver. That's what I like to do. Hence, that's why I'm an electrician.
Yeah.
I like
'Cause
to
you're
problem
like,
solve.
You're
I do it.
everybody's hero every
I
day.
do it really well.
'Cause you go and you give them
I solve
power.
problems. Yeah, I solve problems. So
and it's almost like a puzzle sometimes for you too,
well,
right?
no doubt.
To find out where the
yeah, you got to look at the whole picture, not just the immediate
box.
picture.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's just me.
So you like solving my problems.
No, it's not solving your
I know.
problems. I would love to.
I know.
If you'd let me.
Yeah, but that's your favorite part of helping me with my job?
Yes.
Is that when we work out issues and we treat it and figure out a better way of doing things?
Yeah, just trying to figure out the best way to do things. I think that's constant in business, is trying to figure out the most efficient way to do it, the best way to do it, if there is such thing as the best way to do it. How to organize, make yourself more efficient. All those kind of things is what I like to do.
Yeah, we did that some last night, didn't we?
Yep, we did.
We did. Okay. So can I just do the opposite now and say what's your least favorite thing to help me with in my business that you do not like helping me with?
Yes, you can.
All right, what is that?
Moving furniture.
Your least favorite is moving
Least
furniture?
favorite.
It's not even hard.
I didn't say it was hard. It's
Is
just
that
my
because-
least favorite.
Is that because it's like too hard on your muscles?
No, no. It's not something I enjoy doing.
So is that the like?
I would rather clean up your mess every day and organize than move furniture.
Now, do you mean move furniture in and out of the house, or do you mean going and picking up furniture for me?
Okay, so we got like 5 pieces of furniture in our dining room.
No, right now we have 0.
Well, at any given time we could have up to 10, 15, maybe 20 pieces. I don't know. But she has a staging wall in there, and so everything constantly has to be rearranged and moved and scooted, and it can't fit, and I can't get to my kitchen, and I have to walk all the way around, and it's just...
I mean, a river.
You asked the question. It's my least favorite.
I understand that. And that's because he wants everything to have a place.
It has to have a place.
And so when it's blocking the door to the kitchen, it's not in its place, but it always goes back. But, when we need to get photographs or something, I gotta shove everything off the wall, I gotta clear the space, and I gotta make a mess, and then I put everything back eventually.
Right. Eventually, yes.
Yeah.
So that's my least favorite.
Okay.
About your business.
About my business.
Yeah.
About the things that you
Yeah.
have to help me with. Because I have to have help with that.
I could build an addition. It's a great
We can
idea.
build an addition, or we can move. What star sign are you, Matt?
I have no idea what that even means.
You're a Leo.
Oh, yeah, I'm a Leo.
Is that a star sign, Catherine?
I thought that was my...
Oh, that's your... Oh, sorry. I think I got that wrong.
No. What's a star sign?
I don't
What's
know.
what's a Leo? That's a lion.
A Leo is your lion.
I know, but what is that?
You're an August birthday.
What does that mean? A horoscope?
Yeah.
Yes.
Your horoscope.
All right, that's
Your
my
horoscope. I'm a Pisces.
I'm a Leo. So I don't know if that tells a lot about me or not. Is it my turn?
Ask me
All
a
right, good.
question, bro.
All right, these are going to get harder as they go.
Oh. You should wear my hat.
I have it on sticky notes.
I'm going to move, Michelle.
Sticky notes are the coolest thing.
They know.
If you have a business, have to have sticky notes.
Yeah, sure.
We've got like 5,000 sticky notes around the house.
They know. They know. I'm a sticky note girl. I'm not reading your note.
And these are all good questions, by the way, to ask yourself when not only when you start a business, but when you're maintaining your business, because sometimes business get away. So, how does your... No, wait. I'm not going to ask that right now.
Are you laughing at
I don't
yourself,
know.
but you haven't even
I'm sorry.
said it?
What is your pricing strategy and why?
Pricing strategy.
Yeah, strategy.
His birthday's August 9th. She said she's August 12th.
Boom.
My pricing strategy
Yeah,
is
pricing strategy.
basically experience. True story.
So it's just...
It's like
It's just
experience. You
looking at the
learn as you
market?
go.
Okay.
No, I don't care about anybody else's market. I am talking about learning as you go, because there have been so many sales where I have lost money, devalued myself, devalued my work over the years, and then I've also been able to do the opposite, to where it's like, okay, well, that what happens is, okay, I priced that one really well and it sold, and so it's... Do you see the gun show right here? Look at that, the way the lights...
You were on a really...
Just embarrass myself.
You're on a really good rant, and then all of a sudden you were like the
I was
dog
like-
and the squirrel, you know?
I was like,
Squirrel.
the light hit my arms when they were just feeling flabby today, but Hey, Heather
Welcome,
saw the show.
welcome
She
to
didn't
the
even
gun
pay
show.
for that.
That's right. Those are free. That's free, by
What?
the way.
Totally. So I feel like there have been times where I have, valued myself where I should be, and then so you take those two sales and they average themselves out. But I feel like it's experience 9 years later going. I feel like I know how to price my work now. It was hard in the beginning to say, I need to give myself an hourly.
Well, that's just it. I mean, how do you come up? I mean, obviously, over a course of years, you can really play with it because that's experience. But how do you do that by starting out? I mean, how did you start out? I mean, you start out doing lots of different things, and how did you come up with a price? Because a lot of people, I think, when you're selling a product, is sometimes you want to be competitive. You don't want to undersell it yourself. You don't want to leave money on the table, but you don't want to overprice. So how does one kind of determine that? Do you just research it, or you just go, what is it worth to me to buy this thing?
Yeah. So what I recommend the ladies in my Creative Connection is you give yourself what do you want to make per hour? Like, what is your goal to make per hour to where you feel like what you're doing is worth your time? So, people that do quilts, they're never going to get paid. Like, to sell a quilt, that's so time consuming. It's so hard to actually get paid for all the time that you put in. But
people do that all the time.
They do, but it's harder in things that take a lot of detail. But with furniture, you can say, this piece right here is going to take me 8 hours. I want to make $20 an hour. I want to make $30 an hour. I want to make $40 an hour. And then you figure that into the hours that you spent, and then you have to factor in the time that you spent searching for furniture, the time that you spent going and picking up the furniture, the time that you worked on it, staged it, photographed it, worked it in social media. All of that goes into your hourly rate. So that is how I encourage my Creative Connection members is to price. So pricing by the hour is just where it's just a good place to start. But you've got to find that rate which at the end of the day you felt like you were paid your value. So if that's $40 an hour for you, great. If it's $15 an hour, that's great. But that's for you to figure out,
right,
not for anybody else. So there's no point in comparing it to anybody else.
It's true. Yeah, and that happens in my business too. I mean, typically in the electrical business, it's not a flat rate, but everybody has to be somewhat competitive,
you
right?
You have to be competitive.
I mean, so you just can't price yourself out of the market, and you can't drive down the market either, because now you're making everybody else mad. Which your market's a little different than my market. I mean,
you're providing a service.
I provide a service, but I provide a service. I'm doing something. I come to your house and take care of whatever it is that you need, but it is different. So I was just kind of curious, when you're selling a product, determining the value of that product to where you're not losing money, you're not undercutting yourself to where you're losing money. So I just didn't know if there's a simple formula, because I don't think there's a simple formula to it. In my opinion, I think there's so many factors that go into it.
And I tell people, you just have to start. You just have to start when there are a lot of people that I coach that are just starting with their artwork, and they don't know how to price a piece of artwork that hangs on the wall. And you know I still struggle with that, because I'll say, what do I price this? I don't really know. And so you can do that price per square inch
to get you started.
To get you started, or you can just throw it out there. But that's the number one thing. Don't hesitate. Just go for it. See, Heather's saying that she is like that. It's hard to get started. She's raising her hand and saying,
I thought she had a question.
No, she's saying she doesn't know. You got to know the lingo, babe. You got to know the emojis.
I'm not down with it.
Study them. You need your glasses on?
I'm not down with it.
There was a glare. Okay, my next question.
Yeah. Next question.
Is it my turn?
Yeah, it's your turn.
Yeah.
Even though I pretty much did all the talking on that question, it's your turn.
Not true. Okay, so as far as you being self-employed.
I am.
What's your favorite thing about being self-employed?
Oh, wow.
And then on the flip side, what's your favorite thing about it that you had no idea was going to be your favorite? Because there was a time where you going self-employed was...
It's horrible.
It sounded
horrible,
terrible. Like, we were never going to be self-employed. Do you remember having conversations?
It's highly stressful.
We were like, we will never be our own boss. We will always work for somebody. We don't want to go. We do not want to go sole responsibility on ourselves. Remember that?
Yeah. Well, we don't gamble. We're not the typical gambling
We're not risk takers.
People. We're not risk takers. We're both very safe And when I decided to start my own business, it was scary, and it was way out of my comfort zone.
You were 31.
I was 31. It made me sick to my stomach. I had 2 kids. I knew the business well. I didn't know everything, that's for sure, but I definitely knew it well enough to where I felt comfortable. But building up that clientele was super stressful.
So what was your favorite part?
My favorite part
About
now,
being
or my
self-employed?
favorite part when I started?
No, what's your favorite part now of being
now?
self-employed?
Freedom.
You have a flexible schedule.
100% freedom.
Because you get to
schedule. I can schedule when I need to. The boys have games. I can schedule around it. For me, that's the number one thing. Is just the flexibility.
So were you surprised 10 years later that...
I didn't have the flexibility when I first started out.
No. You took every job that came your way.
Had to.
You took every job, every
Yeah.
weekend, everything that you could do when you first started
For
out.
sure, yeah.
And really, in the last 3 or 4 years, at 5 years, you probably started, having a little bit more flexibility. But for the first 5 years...
It's hard to build a business. It takes a lot of work, a lot of stress. You have to be able to either maintain your stress or be able to cope with your stress, or have somebody to help you through your stress. It's very important because it eats a lot of people up. So having that support group, wherever it comes from, is actually quite important.
So Cynthia asked if both of us have employees or are both of us working by ourselves?
I had an employee a while back, a couple of years ago. I tried it out. I was like, you know what? I never wanted to be a business owner personally. I never did. It wasn't in my cards. It wasn't something that I wanted to do. I did it anyway, and I didn't want to have employees. I didn't want to have that responsibility of having that person worry about if he's got a job that next day. That was very stressful for me.
Making sure you found enough work.
I was doing enough work to cover myself and pay for my income, for my family and our bills, but to have that added stress, and now I've got to pay, help try to find business for somebody else. Was currently no. Long story short, I didn't like it.
Did you see Lance's question?
No, I didn't see Lance's question. I didn't like it, and so I got out of the situation. So
no,
I do not currently have employees. I work for myself, and that's it. I do all the work.
Right. And I pretty much do most everything by myself. My niece helps me with a few little things here and there.
Cleaning.
Cynthia says she prefers working alone, but she's done it both ways.
I do prefer working alone. I used to really enjoy working with people. It made the day go by really fast.
You mean with someone in your truck?
Yeah, when I was working at the other contractor company that I worked for,
someone to talk
loved
to.
it. Tons of good friends. You could talk throughout the day, but I like working by myself. I really do.
My brother wants to know, how instrumental is it in older siblings? How instrumental are they in running a business?
Not much. Not really.
No, older siblings really don't have anything to
more
do.
they get in the way.
Yeah, they get in the way.
Yeah.
They tend to annoy.
Yeah, they tend to
pop on your
banter
lives and
they try to tell the younger sibling what to do all the time.
Yeah, they're bossy.
Doesn't really work.
Rude.
But yeah, good question.
Not really.
Good question. Is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay.
I believe it's yours. But I need a drink of water. These gun show got me famished right here.
Okay. Which part of your business is not profitable? What'd he say? What'd he say?
Thank you for your input. God bless.
Yeah. Which part of your business is not profitable?
Which part of my business, they do dance well. See, Lance, you saw your moves. Is not profitable.
Such as overhead, such as...
what do you mean?
Well, I mean, in every aspect of business, there's a part that's just not profitable. You end up spending more time doing certain things. It's like if you don't spend, for example, your group, that's a big part of your business, right? You spend a lot of time on your business.
Spend a lot of time on my business.
Is there certain things that you still have to do that take up time that you could be putting somewhere else? So if there's something of that nature, because part of business is trying to figure out where you're profitable, where you're not, what you can and can't do, how much you should do it. Is it something you should only do once a week?
I don't
Like billing,
know.
for example. Billing is the
I'll tell you
number
what.
one thing
I'll
you
tell
have
you
to
what.
do.
Okay, so what is not profitable, what I have found is me online searching for furniture and driving around the city and going from shop to shop and picking up furniture. That is a total waste of my, like, I feel like there are other people that could be doing that for me, and now there are people that do that for me. But that is probably the number one thing that I started feeling like I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting, like, if you go 4 hours and you drive all over the city and you find nothing, I feel like there were 4 hours at home that I could have been painting, I could have been working on photos, I could have been networking. There were so many other things that I could do, and so I find people to help me. I have pickers, I have people I can contact to help me. Like right now, Michelle found 2 pieces for me in Tulsa, and I have my nephew go pick them up. Like things like that. That is the one thing, the most important thing where I found that I felt like I was wasting money.
Kim's got a good question. I'll read it. Oh,
Where'd
it go?
It's okay, sugar. You have to know how to work it.
You can do it?
Yeah, you just touch it.
My bad.
Q says she has to pick her own stuff. She loves that part. I find it is a total waste of my time to pick my stuff. I need other people picking it.
Or pick it up.
And bring it home to me. Do you do the markets or vintage shows? No, I've never done a market or a show.
Tell them why.
And if so, do you think attendance has gone down? I have heard that from other people. In my group, I've heard a lot of people saying that the attendance has gone down, which is just, it's hard. It's a lot of work. And I know that 4 or 5 years ago, they seem to have been making a lot more from the show. That's where I have to drop my prices and not make what I should when there is 150 people. Right, Kim. I think that that's a very common...
It goes up and down constantly.
I think that's a really common problem, that there are more and more shows and there are more and more vendors, which makes it, the selection bigger and everybody's prices have to come down, so your overall profit margin is smaller.
Well,
I've never done a market and I've never done a show, mostly because my children do competitive sports on the weekends, and so it's always been a thing where the number one reason why I do this business is to have the flexible schedule so I don't miss my boys' events and ball games and things like that. And so a show, of course, is a week or a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And even just the whole weekend taking me away, loading a trailer and doing all of the things that I see you guys are rock stars that do the shows. I'm so impressed.
It's very hard.
It looks so laborious, and it's not my jam. It's never been my jam.
I think it works. I think it works for if there's a big show. I don't think anybody's saying not to do any shows, but
oh no.
I think you just have to weigh where the show's at, how many vendors, is it going to be a good show? I mean, I think there's just a lot of questions that you ask yourself before you do I have enough product? Do I have the right kind of product for this
and it's
particular
hard to know what
show?
is the right product.
And it is hard, but in order to figure that out, you have to do it. And then at the end of the day, was I profitable? Did I network? Is this more about networking than it is making a profit? I mean, a ton about business is networking, and it's about sometimes it's about who you know instead of what you know, right?
Yeah,
and that's with all business.
Gamble. Q says it is a gamble.
It is a gamble, and that's something that we just never have done. Now, she did have her stuff in a booth one time years ago, the one there in Moore.
Moore.
Yeah, she did. I had to go. We put her stuff in. She was selling like signs. You were selling signs and stuff. It was in Moore. I'm telling you, I went there. Anyway, but it just wasn't. It didn't work. What? No, was it in Moore? Was it in Oklahoma City? I don't remember.
Signs?
Yeah, you painted the signs. You don't have one around here.
I am like.
Yeah.
I've done a lot of different things.
A lot of different things, and then a lot of times it's just. But anyway, about shows. I don't want to get off topic here, but. It's just, I think it is a gamble. I think Q is right. I think it's just about figuring out where your niche is. So much about business is finding your niche and staying in that niche and being committed to it.
Yeah. So let's say there are some husbands watching or some women on here.
Right.
Or significant other or partner of any kind. And the weather can ruin it all for a show. Isn't that the truth?
Amen.
So what advice would you give to someone who's supporting someone in my industry? So I'm new. I'm new, and I want to do this. I want to try to do this. I'm going to work on furniture. I'm gonna try to build a business. So as the person that supports me, and you've always encouraged me, because I couldn't do it without you, and I make that clear to you almost every day, don't I?
Yeah.
I say,
Sometimes.
what do I say?
You say thanks.
No, Mr. Woods.
Say thanks a lot.
Mr. Woods.
You've been
Hey,
really
you know
great.
what? Fine. Don't tell them. Fine.
You've been
Don't tell
really
them.
great. Thank
Be
you.
a turkey. So, what advice could you give to someone?
What could advice I give to
the person that's being the supporter?
Okay. So guys are out there, women,
Guys,
whomever it
women,
may be.
whomever it may be.
Significant other.
Mhm.
I guess patience is probably the biggest thing, biggest asset that you can have is patience. Because in the creative world, which I have found out, there are tons of ups and downs. Tons of them. And so they're going to want to quit. They don't think they're any good. Nobody will ever buy this. Yeah, it is a lot of crying. So patience, I think, is the big thing. And here's the deal. You don't have to understand what they're doing. You don't have to at all. You really don't.
Advice.
You can
You
just...
don't have to understand it.
You don't have to understand it. You don't have to try to
Because
understand
you're
it.
not on social media at all.
I'm not on social media.
Never has been.
Well, I got a Facebook thingy because you're...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You wanted to be able to watch it.
I'm on the Facebooks now. I'm part of the generation. But anyway, patience. You don't have to understand it. And probably the biggest thing at first is don't tell them what to do. We did that quite a bit. I'm a guy that wants to, you should have done it like this, or they don't need that. Unless they ask for it. If they ask for it, it's a different story. Patience, I think, is really the number one thing. And you don't have to understand it, because I know I don't. Well, I didn't. I do know. I do more now.
But you also you listen to me, and you're learning to understand.
Well, listening is a big part of it.
Because there are a lot of
But
people
it's-
who don't get the support. Maybe they've tried their spouse, significant other, has tried so many different things, and I've tried a lot of different things. Like when the boys were little, I did a lot of the multi-networking, the MLM type stuff, Arbonne, books, candles. I did a lot of things because I knew I wanted to stay home with my kids.
Right.
And you just went along with it.
I wasn't always happy about it. Not at all. It's frustrating, and it can be frustrating as the other person in the room,
In the
house, wherever, apartment, wherever you may be. But
So your advice is to be patient.
it's just patience.
And realize it's not going to happen overnight.
It does not ever happen over. I think anybody, even starting a business, you will not make $1 million your first year unless you just have some really crazy
Yeah, I don't know
invention.
who those people are.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, no kidding. It's very hard, and you have to be committed, and you have to have patience. And I think that's kind of what it boils down to. Because I was committed to you, and I've learned to have a lot of patience. I think I've always had patience. I have.
You're
I've
just a
always had
patient person.
I have. Not much bothers me.
No, you're just a patient person, and I'm not.
Your brother bothers me.
Oh, he's on here.
Trust, yes. Trust is, and it's not so much trust in her.
Yes, it
It's
is.
hard to trust the process. She's doing
When you don't understand
when you
it.
don't understand it, right? So I trust her, but by looking at the process, not knowing exactly what this is all about, it's hard to trust that process. So that's where the patience comes in, and then you eventually will see where it's going. I mean, I didn't with this painting thing. She loved to paint. She loved to be creative. I'm like, get after it. And so it just evolved. It wasn't necessarily, this is what I'm going to do, this is how I'm going to do it. And it just didn't really work that way for us.
I tried a lot of different things, and I remember when I first started, you know, neither one of us were on social media, but I knew I had to be on social media in order to create my business and be successful.
Well, and
Yeah.
that was a learning curve as well. I mean,
All of it is.
if you've never owned a business, every day is a new day, and so you have to learn how to adapt.
And change.
and change. Yeah, you have
Be
to adapt and
flexible.
change and be flexible. And there's a lot of my friends who are not. They wouldn't do that. They're just very strict and rigid in how they do things, and that's fine.
We weren't planning
But
on doing it either.
right, in order to own a business, small business, whatever it may be, you have to be flexible at all times. You have to learn to cut your losses, and you have to. It's just a lot of information, and you can't learn it in a week. It takes years.
Yeah. Dionne and Debi, with their creativity, help me combine my two passions. Awesome. I'm so glad to hear that, Mandy. Q says it's not an overnight thing. Dirt Road, which is Cassie Spicer, she says, so making my hubby watch this. Oh, good. He has always been supportive of my business, even when he thought I was wrong. I think he would love to hear someone
Yep.
with his perspective.
Yep.
That's what I wanted, was for Matt to be able to provide the perspective, because I teach 415 women in my coaching group. But from from the other side of it, he is
I'm a
my
male.
rock.
I'm
I know
a-
you're a male, but like the I don't want to always say the male. I want to say
Partner.
the significant other and partner. Even if it's business, just a business partner and not an actual significant other, who you're in like 24 hours a day. Like, you're off working, but still, if I call, or can you pick up the bubbles? Can you pick up bubble wrap? Can you pick up boxes? Because you're in it all the time. So it's just good, I think, for a lot of people to hear your perspective and advice, because their husbands might be sitting over here going, what is she doing?
Well, another
Why
thing.
does she paint everything? And who is this woman always on these videos that she's listening to?
Yeah, the one with the bangs.
Well, there's a lot of other people on the
yeah.
line
on the lines
than me
on the line
that
yeah.
they're listening to.
It's true. It's true.
So, I mean, there's all kinds of, hairdos. So anyway, I just wanted this. I got all through my questions.
Do you have any
any left? We'll do one more question if you have one, and then they need to go to bed, and I need to eat my brownie.
I don't know. Did I go? I think I got through all my stickies.
You got all your sticky notes?
Yeah, I read that one.
Nope,
that
got that one.
No,
Nope.
I'm good. You guys have any questions?
I know that there were probably some that we missed, and I'm sorry. They pop up here for a second, and then they kind of go away, and so I have to pull them back down. The sound is all funky on YouTube. I'm really sorry about that, Terry. It may be saying goodnight. When do you have time for each other? Coaching and painting are keeping you busy. They are.
About 11:30 to 7 in the morning.
At night. You know what? He's my best friend, and we do everything basically together. We don't.
We've learned to. Yeah.
We just do everything together for the most part. So,
I think the idea of this show is it's not even really a show. It's just more of almost like a Q&A. We've been talking about this. Dionne has been talking about this for a couple months now, and she thought it was important to have a perspective of somebody who. I'm a creative, but I'm a, what would you call it? I like to create things. What I like more to do is I like to see something and I like to make it better. So I break it down and then I put it all back together and hope it's better. So it's hard for.
here's what he means is.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm interrupting.
Yep.
What I want him to do is I want him to build light fixtures. I
No.
want him to create light fixtures
No.
and have old school lighting company, because he's so creative and so good. And I love light fixtures. So,
That's like me asking you to go paint the boys' room after we're done.
oh, no.
Exactly.
I don't
It's
want to
not gonna
paint any
happen.
rooms.
Right.
But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I think it's just we wanted to do this because you can get a little bit different perspective for whomever else is sitting in the room who may or may not understand the other side of it, which the other side is your partner or
Yeah.
whomever, or
Yeah.
your partner in business or whatever
Just a
it may
different
be.
perspective is
Different
what we wanted to
perspectives,
share.
and
And I thought
may or may
maybe we
not
could do
help.
this, once a month, or we could do project together. But since he is my best friend and doing everything behind the scenes, sometimes I just want him to come do more with me. Like I get him to come to my classes now, which he wasn't doing that in the beginning.
You know what?
No, you were coming.
I always
you were
hoped you- coming
like, like hanging out in the other room.
I was
but now
there.
you're like part of the party.
Well, I got to take pictures. That's part of my job, right? I got to entertain. I got to entertain.
Entertain?
I got to entertain the ladies.
Actually, you know what he does? He sets up the food and
I
then he
do.
cleans up the mess.
I clean. That's exactly what I do.
And
I pour drinks sometimes.
And I told him that earlier that when I spilled the bottle of wine on the driveway,
yes,
you
did.
swept it up.
I did. I clean things. That's what I do. That's my job.
What is this? All right. So you guys go home or go to bed. Anyway, Q says you're a good host. Tell
Coming
her
after
thank
you. Coming after you, Q.
What do you mean?
Taking her job.
Oh my gosh. She meant you're a host when you.
Oh,
she's
that's
here.
what you meant. Oh, thank you.
When she comes
Oh,
over.
I thought she meant on the show.
No, you're not gonna be on Friday Night Live.
Mm-hmm.
Silly. All right, you guys. Thanks for joining us. I hope it was helpful. And for those of you that can get your
tell them they can
husband.
They can write questions and we can answer them next time.
Oh yeah, write a question in a comment. I reply to all of the comments. So if you guys, we're gonna kind of try to start doing this at least once a month. So if you want to make sure you subscribe and turn the little bell on, you get notifications.
Do the
when I
bell
go
thing.
live. Do the bell thing. He's not on social media.
The bells.
But
The bells and the likes.
He heard something like that. So anyway, we appreciate you guys and have a great night and a wonderful weekend.
Is that it?
Bye bye. There'll be no Iris tomorrow, by the way. We did not
Sorry.
have